Welcome to Keepin in Hundo. I'm your host, Matty Hundo. Today's guest is Jermon Bushrod. He spent 12 years in the NFL, most of it with the Saints, as a starting offensive tackle. He's a two-time Pro Bowler, and he's got free gumbo for life because in 2009, he helped the Saints win a Super Bowl championship, their first and only Super Bowl. He also played for the Chicago Bears and the Miami Dolphins. To have the career that Jermon had, coming from small-town Virginia, that's King George, Virginia. And then he played at Towson University, fourth-round pick. It's impressive what he was able to accomplish. 2011, he led the NFL in snaps played. That means that he never left the field. If his offense was out there, he was out there. He wasn't taking plays off. Jermon is just a solid guy. He's dependable. He's a high-character guy, and that's why he got the big bucks, and that's why his team voted him as the most courageous guy on the team. It was a Courage Award, the Ed Block Courage Award he received last season from the Saints. That's a testament to the type of teammate he's been, but specifically last season when Jermon and his wife lost their child, Jordan, a week into Jordan's life. It was during the football season, and it really took its toll on Jermon, but he came back and he ended up starting a few games after that to help his team get into the playoffs, obviously with a heavy heart, and his team definitely noticed that, and that's why he received the Ed Block Courage Award. I met Jermon about a year ago when his wife was pregnant. I went to his home in New Orleans and recorded a podcast with him, but that podcast was never released. Due to the circumstances the podcast was recorded under. I was hired by a company, by a person who lied to me, who let me down, and I don't even want to mention that person's name, but I was given a salary, I was put on the payroll, and I was hired to do podcasts for him. Unfortunately, the dude never followed through on the terms and conditions we agreed to under contract. Regardless, we went down to New Orleans. We went to Jermon's. Jermon was gracious to allow us into his home, met his family. We had a great meal at Restaurant Rebirth in New Orleans. It was a great experience, and unfortunately that podcast was never released. But I did make a friend out of it because Jermon and I have remained in touch. He even introduced me to his alter ego, Durag Jermon. So look forward to you getting a chance to meet Durag Jermon as well. And on the field, there's some skill position guys that owe him a lot of gratitude. Guys like Ryan Tannehill and Jay Ajayi in Miami, and Jay Cutler and Matt Forte in Chicago. And he helped Drew Brees set records in New Orleans, paving the way for Drew and Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. He definitely left his mark, but I think he's going to have a bigger mark off the field with whatever he does with the rest of his life. He's already a great dad and a great husband. He always puts his family first. And I'm excited to see what's next for him. This is my conversation with Jermon Bushrod. Happy belated birthday, bro.
Appreciate it, my brother.
Was it last week, about a week ago?
Yeah, last Monday. Last Monday.
35th?
35th birthday, yep.
Damn. That's your Reggie Lewis. You know Reggie Lewis?
Reggie Lewis.
That's what I think of when I think of 35.
Reggie Lewis.
Played for the Celtics. He died.
Okay.
Heart attack on the court.
Damn.
Hey, he was like my favorite player back then.
For sure.
A little tough. Before your time.
Yeah, a little bit. That's a tough way. That's a tough way to go out, man.
Yep. DMV guy too. Baltimore.
I knew that's why I knew that. I knew of the name. I knew of that situation.
Dunbar. You seen that Dunbar story on ESPN?
Yep.
They had four guys from there.
Yep.
Starting five.
Because I had a couple buddies who played football.
At Dunbar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Because, I went to school right in Towson.
Yep.
Just right outside of Baltimore. So, my Baltimore connects are pretty good. Know some people from around there.
What about those island connects? You're out in Turks and Caicos? Birthday out there?
Lovely, man. It was so nice out there. I took the family out there, and so nice. I was like, me and the wife, we went back for the 35th. We just went out there for a few days just to enjoy ourselves before this new baby comes.
You do that fish fry they got?
I did. I made it out there.
It's like on Wednesdays
Thursday.
or Thursday.
Thursday. So the first time we went, that's all the locals were talking about. You got to do the fish fry on Thursday.
Yep.
But we left on Thursday.
Oh, okay.
I said if we go back out there, we left on Friday this past time, so we definitely enjoyed it. It was cool because you got to see the locals come out.
Yeah, it's the locals mixed with the tourists.
It's the locals and the tourists came out, so it was all love. You had some good food, some music playing. It was
What'd
nice.
you get?
What didn't I get? They were making some conch salad.
I had conch salad. I had a lobster. Like
for
a
sure,
whole lobster.
because I think
tail.
lobster season had just come in.
Yep.
Probably from most of those islands down in the Caribbean. So they had the lobsters on the grill. We had, of course, fried fish, jerk chicken. A couple people had lobster mac and cheese. It was all good.
I feel like they do that at a lot of the islands. They have the same. I was in Barbados last week. They do the same thing on Fridays, and it's all these different vendors, and the whole town comes out, or the whole island comes out.
It's a good vibe, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been to the Bahamas a few times, and whatever resort you go to, you always pass the local. It looks like all the local restaurants and shops, and they all tell you that's the fish fry. You can go there every day in the Bahamas.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's
Same
it's
thing
nice.
in Barbados. It was an everyday thing, but it's popping on Friday.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
What's your favorite island? You got a favorite one? Is it there? I mean, you've gone back there twice.
I mean, look, I went out there. I think what made it for me, like, because we left on that Thursday, and the weather was kind of funny the first time we went. But in the last morning, I woke up and we had the ocean view room, and man, the water looked like a swimming pool. It's like I ran down to get my wife like a little child. Like I ran down to go get my wife from the pool. I was like, we got to go to the water right now. Like you have to come right now.
That's how I am.
It was no wind. It was no clouds.
Yeah.
The water looked, I'm telling you, it looked like a swimming pool. We walked. I mean, you could have walked for miles. That's how low it was.
It was that low?
Oh, man.
Like a sandbar?
It was unbelievable. Like you could walk out so far. Me and the wife, we walked out and just enjoyed the vibe, and we literally was out there contemplating like adding a couple days and pushing our flight back, but financially it wasn't worth it.
Last week when I was in Barbados, it was like a couple little private beaches behind the Airbnb I stayed at. And I was out there one morning by myself, nobody out there. I'm floating around in the water. A couple sea turtles just swimming near me. It's me and the sea turtles. Nobody on the beach but me and them. Like, beautiful.
Man, yes, it's awesome. Because actually, I kind of got a little story to kind of piggyback on that. We took a boat in Turks one day. It was beautiful, right? And we got off the boat, me, the wife, the kids, another couple we were with, and it was a stingray, just like in the water. Just, of course, I'm kind of scared of it, you know what I'm saying? But like it's in the water, it's swimming around, and it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of magical, man. It was just kind of cool to be out there.
Well, to run into them in like natural habitat, and it's not like a tour or something.
Yeah, like some kind of like petting zoo or some crazy
exactly.
shit. It was just normal, just nature at its finest. And so to see that, man, it was just kind of surreal. Just being able to do that and seeing the water, the clouds, the sunset, man, it was much needed. It was just like a nice escape.
So when you're back here in Miami, or you're in Broward, whatever, same thing, South Florida.
Yeah, that's what our category is. Yeah, I just say I just live in South Florida.
Yeah, and whenever I meet anybody who says they got a little money, usually an athlete or whatever, and they say they live in South Florida, it's like, well, are you single or you got a family? If you got a family, you're up this way.
Right,
because this is the only place people build houses. And
for sure.
If you're single, you live alone, you probably live in Brickell or South Beach. Or
you probably start Fort Lauderdale and you head down south, closer to the beach.
Yeah.
And I don't blame you.
Exactly. So when you're out here, I see you on Instagram. You're barbecuing. You're do-rag Jermon. Yeah. You're all these different Instagram characters. I could see you transitioning almost into like a Spice Adams type guy. Like obviously a different lane.
For sure.
But like definitely a character like that. You got that.
Yeah. Well, it's just I just like to have fun, man. I've always been that type of person. I like to be the goofy child. I like to make people laugh. That's kind of something I've always enjoyed doing. It's always kind of something that's been in me. But like when you see me during the season, it's all kind of business. Because my focus is on one thing, and that's to get the job done. And if I don't get the job done, then I don't get to be in a situation. So now that it's like football's not really that important to me, because we have other things in life going on. I can just be me, and just have fun. And the whole do-rag thing is funny because I literally, I've never been like a person who wears them all the time, but like, blame my barber. Like, he cut my hair one day. He was like, man, because, I had like the little twist in my hair. It wasn't that long, but I had the little twist, and, you can make it look right and make it look presentable. But he was like, man, why don't you go ahead and cut it off, take it back? And I was like, dude, I haven't cut my hair in like 5 years. It's always been at least an inch, a couple inches long. And once he did that, I seen a wave or two. I threw that grease in. I think I went and like dug up one of my old do-rags that I had like stashed in the back of a drawer somewhere, and here we are now. I don't know if anybody caught it, but on my Instagram, my wife bought me like like 5 or 6 of them. A Gucci one, 2 velvet ones, 2 satin ones. So I've been having fun. I've been having fun on Instagram.
Flap up, flap down.
Flap up, yeah. Flap down, man. You just in a whole different mindset.
I appreciate it. I'm sure a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. All right, so you mentioned the football situation. You visited with Carolina in the off season.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Man, I'm gonna tell you. It's funny because Carolina was a place I could see myself, the wife and I could see us settling, because it was they have a great airport there. We can fly in and out, get down to New Orleans. I can get to D.C. because I'm from Virginia. My wife is born and raised in in New Orleans, so I thought it'd be a good place to kind of settle for a little while, because you can get a lot of bang for your buck, house-wise, out there. I like the idea of that. So when they had the opportunity to go there after last season, it was tough because, we had some things that we were, family-wise, we were going through last year, and our lease wasn't up in New Orleans, and you've been to that place in New Orleans. It was hard to leave that spot in New Orleans, but
beautiful.
We were down there, and I took the visit, and we were still living in New Orleans, and we didn't even move back here to South Florida yet. And to me, it didn't make sense for me to make a move to go sign somewhere when we were literally about to move back to South Florida. So then I would have to leave. I would move back to South Florida April 1st because that's when we were moving back. So now I had to leave to go somewhere else in 2 weeks to start training. It didn't make sense. So I put it to, I kind of put football behind me a little bit and wanted to come here and get settled. And the longer I stayed here, and I still love the game, but I don't know if I can give it my all like I want to. So it just didn't it didn't make sense for me to sign it.
So you haven't made the decision to retire yet?
I'm 95%. Like every day I'm moving closer to it.
What if you got a call though from?
I've gotten a call.
You gotten a couple calls?
I've gotten 4 or 5 teams have reached out.
What if it was the right team? Like say it was like you living in Miami now. What if it was the Dolphins?
I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm good. Like
Okay.
To pull me out of where I am right now, and we'll talk a little bit later about the situation that we were in and just how my mindset has been changed a little bit.
Do-rag Jermon.
Yeah, do-rag Jermon.
Nah,
but just things are different, man. It's just like something has clicked in me. My health is important to me.
Yeah.
So it's starting to become a trend for me in the off season. I had thumb surgery last year. The year before that, I had thumb and wrist. 2 years before that, I had shoulder and bicep tendon. So 3 out of the last 4 years, it's starting to become a trend. I've had 2 surgeries on my dominant hand. I don't have the strength that I once had. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can go and sign something, but I haven't been training, so I have principles about myself. I'm not going to go and take somebody's money if I'm not 100% in it or ready.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that.
Mentally or physically.
Right. And for me, physically, are you ever ready? Like you train, but the mental part is what is the determining factor whether you're going to have success or not, in my eyes. Because you have to do it every day, whether you feel good or not. Like, you got to do it every day. And when you get older like me, it's like a car, man. Like, it's like a nice car, right? Like,
how many
you got to start it up.
5-year-old
Not many.
linemen are there left? I mean, players in the league, there's not a lot, but
I think there's 1 or 2 linemen that are still in the league.
okay.
That I got drafted in with in the 2007 draft class. So it ain't many of us.
14 years you played?
12.
12.
12, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we just finished 12. Yeah.
Speaking of Charlotte, I was out there recently. One of my good friends I grew up with lives out there now, my boy Marv. His kids play for Roman Harper. Isn't he one of your old teammates?
That's my dude.
Yeah,
That's
he's
my
the
dude.
coach of their soccer
Little
team.
soccer
or
team.
something.
Yeah. I remember looking at his IG and he was coaching for a while because he seemed to be pretty happy doing.
I think he said this season they didn't get him and they were disappointed because the kids loved him.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Roman's a good, solid dude, man. That was a guy. He got drafted in New Orleans in 06. I came in 07. You know, he's been my guy ever since. You know, as a guy we had a lot of fun back in the day, and I've loved to see his career. I love stepping on that field with him, and he's just been a good guy, man. He's actually helped me a lot. Probably more than he knows. Just because we're growing, we're getting older and a little bit more wiser, and you know how life is.
We're here with Jermon Bushrod, 12-year veteran, played for the Saints, won a Super Bowl with the Saints, couple Pro Bowls, right? Mm-hmm. How many? 2? 2 Pro Bowls, played for the Dolphins, played for the Bears. Solid career, offensive tackle. And he is close to retirement, but I guess he's not quite made up his mind yet.
We're there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're there. It's a big leap for me to say I'm done. Because this is something
your whole life.
Yeah, I mean, my mother wouldn't let me play till I was 12, and I wasn't very good probably till like my junior year.
But what about even youth football? You can't be that big.
Right.
You can't play.
That was another issue. It was like when I went to go sign up, I couldn't play with the kids my age. So my mother was like, "You're not playing with older kids." So I just kept playing baseball, and I played a little basketball later on too. But baseball was my passion. I wanted to go to school to do that. And when I went to Towson, I wanted to play both. But it's too much.
It is.
It's too much.
I went to school to try to play 2 sports, and
it ain't happening.
After football season, I was like,
Right.
I'm out of here.
Right.
I was trying to play basketball too.
Yeah.
Not
That's
happening.
too close.
Nah.
That's close.
Yeah. I went home.
So,
Oh, the weight stuff. I heard Pop Warner now has no weight limit. They have 2 leagues now. You can big guys can play with the little guys.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like my thoughts on
Youth football
are
is
I
dying.
go back and forth with it. Yeah, I mean,
you mean as far as your kids playing and
yeah, I mean just as a whole.
Yeah.
Because this is a violent game that we play, and sometimes I know my career is pretty much done because I look at it on TV now and I kind of cringe at some of the shots. That
I look at
people
it way
take.
differently than when I played.
Right, because when you're out there, you're just in this mindset of, man, I got to protect these guys. I got to protect my quarterback. I need to make sure my running back doesn't get crushed. So I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Like I'll do whatever it takes. Sometimes we fail, but that's what kept me going. Just the guys beside me, the guys behind me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be in that kind of mindset. And if you're not in that for me, if I wasn't in that kind of mindset, it just wasn't. It ain't worth it.
It's lightweight war.
For sure.
Because people can have their life. I mean, people don't die on the field, but you can have your whole life.
Part of you can die.
Changed, right?
Like look at, was at the Ed Block Courage Award in Baltimore in March, and I seen Shazier.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
I was like, this dude's he was an animal on the field. You know what I'm saying? I got a story about him when we played in the playoff games, but for him to have all that success and for him to go through that, him and his family, that's tough, man, because this game is taken away from you in such a drastic way. But I feel for him.
His physical self died there.
For sure.
His whole life has changed.
He did. So, I hope and I got to talk to him a little bit, and I'm sure he's putting things into perspective and trying to make sure that his life is better, but it takes a while, I'm sure.
Speaking of the Ed Block Courage Award, this is the award you received.
Yes.
Your teammate, who picks
The whole
the
team.
winner? The team votes on it?
The whole team. I believe it's team and coaching staff.
Okay.
They vote for it, and they voted for me. And that was. I guess we can kind of talk about why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You lost a child.
Yeah.
Was it last football season?
Yeah. She was born October 11th. Her name was Jordan, and she passed a week later on October 18th. For those who do follow my career, the Saints released me week 1, and a lot of people didn't know why. And that was the reason why, because we found out that she was born with a chromosome disorder, Wolff-Hirschhorn syndrome. And you're looking at me like, what the hell is that? That's the same thing, same look I had when the doctor was telling both of us. It was a very trying time for the wife and I. But, kind of getting back to this Ed Block Courage Award, like, I've never been through anything that rough, in life. So I was doing something I love, playing football, but the bigger picture, my family, the news came down, I was checked out. Like, I was good. Like, I was ready to just give it up. But, when you go through tragedy, like, the people who mean the most to you come and help you, right? So we leaned on God, family, friends, and that team and that organization helped me so much, helped my wife so much. Man, my wife didn't pick up a dish for 3 weeks. Every day, 5 o'clock, somebody
dropping a meal
somebody's
off.
Wife coming by, dropping a meal off, coming by, seeing her, family coming down. I mean, I had 2 nannies from Chicago that we had. They drove down.
What?
Man, yeah, they drove down just to spend 2 weeks in the house. Didn't care about where they slept. Didn't care about nothing. So it was like that's just God. That's just love.
I don't think people understand what it's like to lose a child.
Right.
In that way, I've never had kids, but my brother and his wife were trying to get pregnant for a long time, and about 12 years ago, they had the same thing happen that happened to you, and they were having triplets, and they didn't have any kids yet. So she was pregnant with triplets, people buying them the gifts, 3 this, 3 strollers, and 3 this, and 3 outfits, and, all that stuff. And then I think one of them died in the womb, and then 2 of them were delivered alive, and then they were alive for maybe a week, like Jordan was. And they lost all 3.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so they were devastated. They have 2 healthy kids now. But, for a while there, it was like that was our chance at having kids, and it's gone.
For sure.
I had a girlfriend at the time I was living with, and she was so dumb and ignorant. She was saying things like the day it happened or the day after, I was like really down. And what's wrong? I said, what do you think's wrong? And she's like, what are you upset about? And I'm like, I'm upset about what happened to my brother. My brother and his wife lost 3 kids yesterday. She's like, it's not that big of a deal. I'm like, huh?
She's an idiot.
Like, what is wrong? And she says, like,
You dodged the bullet.
well, they never really knew the kids. And I'm just, I threw her suitcase through the wall.
Yeah.
I threw her out. I was living with her. I threw her out. Like, literally, I threw her out. I never lived with her after that.
Nobody wants that kind of energy.
That's crazy to me.
If you can't be empathetic towards what people got going on, like you're just
But I guess
lost.
So that's why I said, don't think people understand the attachment you get, even though you didn't develop years of knowing that person.
But that child was in the wife's womb.
Yeah, you made that child. Like, it's.
Yeah.
So I think that some people don't understand the effect that may have on someone, and it clearly had.
Yeah, that actually kind of a similar statement, not from somebody like that, but like not even a friend, but like a friend of a friend was talking, and they said a comment about, the baby was only here a week. Well, I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like your wife, you build a bond with that child. Your husband and wife, you build a bond with that child, and it was hard for me because just like you were saying, like they had all this stuff at their house. Right, getting ready for this child. Man, my wife was pumping, and the baby was gone because she had to. Like, that shit hurts to see, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just constant memories of everything that keeps happening. You know, we buried a child, and a few days later, you're still pumping milk that was for her, and she's gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the connection. Like, you don't understand, you know, because you have a journey with a child, and especially if you have children, you know, that's just, when people say things like that, it's inconsiderate and ignorant.
When they want to break it down to like weeks or days or this is how long you knew that, like, none of that matters when it comes to matters of the heart and
Right.
matters of life and death
Right.
and family, and yeah, it's craziness.
Right, for sure.
But you were given the Ed Block Courage Award.
Yeah.
I'm sure that meant
It meant a lot to
Meant
me.
a lot.
It meant a lot to me. You know, the reason it meant a lot was the reason I could go back and play. You know what I'm saying? Because when we needed people the most, that organization, those players, they were there for us.
Yep.
So it felt like it was only right for me to be there for them. And then they needed me, and it was kind of wild because when they needed me, Teron had got hurt, which was a hell of a player, but he had got hurt against the Bengals. I stepped in. It was a month after she was born. So it was November 11th was the game. A month, one whole month. And I remember waking up that day, I felt like shit. Day of the game, I felt like straight trash. I'm in the bathroom throwing up like before the game. Like, I just feel bad. And then, you know, when you feel like that, physically you don't feel all that strong. And then like early in the second quarter, he goes down. I'm like, well, shit, it's go time now. Like, that's just that trigger, you know. And I went out and I played well, and I started the next 5 games. I played well, but, you know, that's the reason they voted for me.
that says a lot, though. You were a Pro Bowl starter for what, 10 years, 9 years? I don't know. You know, one of the best players on your squad, whether it was in Miami, Chicago, or New Orleans, and then you're being asked to take a lesser role as a vet. You know, you're more advanced in your career.
It wasn't easy.
It's not easy. But that's being a great teammate.
Yeah.
And that's why you get an award like that.
Perspective. Like, one thing I've realized over the last few years is you gotta step back and look at whatever situation you're in and understand that just because you're not a starter anymore, even though you started for the last 9 years, you made all the money in the world, and you never really thought any of this could happen. I took a step back. There's a little bit over 2,000 players in the NFL. I'm not starting. Okay. I'm not getting the money I want. I mean, I'm not nowhere near the money I wanted. But the day of free agency, I'm coming off of surgery. So the Saints bring me in. So that was exciting for me because I started my career there. My wife is from there, born and raised. So, you know, when I told her that the Saints were interested, her eyes lit up. You know what I'm saying? So long story short, man, I'm in my recovery room, which is right behind you. I'm talking to my agent. I'm like, man, just get him up a little bit. Get him up a little bit. Like, I need something. Like, I need some guarantee because I'm not going out to training camp. I'm not putting my body on the line and I come away with nothing. Like, I'm not doing it. I don't need the game that much, but I wanted it, you know. And after talking to some people, mother, my wife, my spiritual advisor, man, they were just like, you got to look at perspective, right? And figure out what you're doing it for, right? So I didn't even tell my wife yet. I told my agent, like, look, let's go ahead and call New Orleans, tell them this is what we want to do. We're going to come back. We're going to sign a deal. This is the first, like I said, I'm coming off of surgery, first day of free agency. That night, we're committing. 2 minutes later, I go downstairs to tell my wife. She's in the bathroom, just finished taking a pregnancy test. So I'm coming down to give her the good news, and she's telling me some good news, and I'm just kind of in shock, like, okay, like, I'm like, baby, we're going back to New Orleans. And like, she's like, great, I'm pregnant. I'm like, really? Like, so it's like, to me, it's like God knew what he was doing. He knew that, hey, you're going to face some adversity in your life this year, and I don't want you to be here to deal with it. I want you to go back home.
You need your family.
You need family. You need family. You need people who are close to you. So like that's what kept me sane, and that's what's given me understanding, and that's why I was able to finish it last year, even though it was the fucking hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Just because the day I got back, the day I came back was which we were traveling to the Vikings. The day I got back, back in the O-line group, our assistant O-line coach just had a baby. So, like, at the end of the group, they congratulated him. And, like, 2 weeks ago, I had just lost a child. A week ago, I had just buried a child. So it was perspective. Like, it ain't always about me. You got to continue to try to be happy for other people. But the fact that I can sit here and tell his story, I've had people in my DMs and messages, and I've had people I was, helping with my words, a couple of days after she was gone. So it's perspective, man.
You're lucky, man. You have a beautiful family. Obviously, you wish it was a little bit bigger, and it hopefully will be soon.
Yep.
Your wife is expecting again.
Yep. Another. She's pregnant. We're pregnant again. Another girl. So it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing, and that's kind of why I haven't been so worried about going back and playing ball, man. Because I take her to doctor's appointments and cook breakfast for the kids before they go to school, and I just enjoyed them.
Priorities in life change.
Man, yeah. It's a bigger picture, and got to put everything, figure out what's the best thing for me, because I want to be here with these kids. I want to play basketball with my son, and, for a few months, I couldn't really even shoot a ball because my thumb was so jacked up. So it's,
hey, if you need somebody to shoot with your son, I'm always around. Man, I'm trying to be like you. I'm 6 years older, but I haven't started a family yet, and that's something that I admire you for.
Yeah.
And
it brings a lot of joy to my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, because before, like, I talk to my wife all the time. Like, what do we do before kids? Like, what do we do meaningful? You know what I'm saying? Like, we might have went here, we went there, and did this or did that, but this is a bigger purpose right now.
Talk about the meaningful barbecue you've been doing in the backyard, because I like barbecue.
For sure.
So before we get to that, what's the best barbecue you've ever had?
Anything my pops cooks.
Yeah, just that home barbecue.
I keep that's what I know.
I didn't grow up with barbecue at the home. I grew up with Italian food, so.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a little different.
I didn't miss no meals growing up. It's funny because I've definitely switched my diet up a good bit. So, I'll do barbecue here and there. So if you talking about that video, one of them videos.
I've seen a couple videos of you barbecuing or pictures or something. I don't know, might have been some story stuff on Instagram.
Yeah, I mean that's why we bought this house. Like, I don't buy this house for me. I want people to come down. I want us to enjoy. That's why we got the court and all that kind of stuff out back. Is because it ain't for me. It's for the kids. Yeah, I like to host. I like having my family down. I like when my wife's family comes down. I like when my friends come. I want you to be comfortable. I want you to hang out. I want you to come back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not with my original friends, but I'm making new friends here, and I still want to make sure my family and friends can come down and just fellowship with us whenever. Because that's how I was raised. Shit.
That's good stuff. Yeah, what's your favorite type of barbecue? Like, you like brisket? I like brisket.
Yeah.
You like steaks, sausages? I mean, what do you, ribs, pork, beef?
Man, my pops, his baby back ribs are fire.
Baby back ribs?
Yeah, you can check my Instagram. I made a aside from my do-rag videos, I do those like little side job hustle videos, and I had one, and I did a barbecue one, and my pops had just like smoked these ribs on the green egg, and I was just saucing them, and I just told my sister, like, grab the camera, I'm gonna make something funny right quick. But I mean, yeah, it's gotta be ribs, man. Like, if you ever came to, actually, I'm gonna invite you right now on there. We're having like a tailgate for my foundation the second week of the season down here, Patriots versus Miami.
Oh, at the stadium?
Yeah. So it's gonna.
I have a lot of friends that come down for the Patriots game, because I'm from Boston. So
yeah.
I'm not a Patriots fan though. So.
Yeah, for sure. But it's gonna be a good little time, man. All the food you seen me post is all the food that's gonna be out there. So it's gonna be, that's what we do, man. I'm from the country, man. We cook, you get people together, you drink, you have a good time, and it's all love.
So you mentioned your diet has changed a little bit.
Yeah, I can't keep eating like this. I can't keep doing it, man. Like,
There's been a rumor on the street that you might get under 300 pounds for the first time.
If I get under
forever.
300 pounds, I've been a little ignorant on my IG. I've been a little foolish, but if I get under 300 pounds, y'all won't be able to control me. Nah, I ain't been under 300, man, since 2002. So
I think it'd be a good look.
Yeah,
I mean, if the career's over, there's no reason to carry that weight around.
No, I gotta get it off me. I gotta be healthier. You know, stop eating the pork a lot. You know, I might have it here and there, you know, every now and then.
Yeah, it's
but,
fine.
You know, when we were playing in my earlier years, probably up to my 10th year, I mean, we're eating bacon and 4 or 5 eggs a morning. Like, I'm not playing no more. I can't do it no more. So, you know, I just try to do meat for one meal. And I indulge a little bit on the weekends, but I got to make sure I'm feeling good, you know.
It's those carbs, too. Those carbs will kill you.
Yeah, them carbs are as long as you eat them early, you know, you'll be all right. But if you eat them before bed, it can be, you know, it can be a little trouble. So as we get older, we learn stuff like that.
I know you don't have anything bad to say about Andrew Luck as he moves forward with retirement. I mean, anybody who's played the game can respect anybody who's gone out there.
You
laid it on the line.
A lot of people, if you've never suited up, you don't understand what goes through your head on a daily basis, what you have to put yourself through. I listened to a little bit of his press conference, and he's right. Like, he's had surgery every year for the last 4 or 5 years. He's been battling rehab probably through a season every single year. Mm-hmm. You know, it takes a toll on you. I've been very fortunate enough, like, my first year starting was in 2009. I don't think I missed a game for an injury until I was like my first year in Chicago, or maybe my second year in Chicago. And that was at practice, you know. So, like, it's hard to stay out there. And when you are out there, you know, guys play with so much stuff, so many different injuries, so many different things that the normal person would probably call an ambulance to come get you. You know, like hips and knees and wrist ailments, things that are bothering you. You know, you're getting that needle every week and it makes you feel like Superman. But once that needle wears off, you know, the aches and the pains, they come back. And if you're getting surgeries, man, it weighs a lot. It's a lot. I respect his decision. Whatever you want to do, if you don't want to play this game, don't play it. You don't owe anybody anything, you know.
I was talking to EJ about it the other day, and they came out of high school the same year, and he just said, man, like, what that guy has gone through, I think he led the league in getting sacked or at least getting hit. Yeah. I mean, they didn't protect him. They weren't bringing in top-notch linemen there.
Right.
They really haven't had much of a running game.
That's really what it is.
A quarterback.
That's really what it is. I mean, it's hard to put it all on the line, on the offensive line, because sometimes, you know, looking at some of the Colts games, I mean, he's throwing the ball 40, 50, 60 times a game. You don't win a championship like that. Yeah. In my opinion, you got to be able to be balanced. You know, look at the Patriots. I mean, I always go back to our championship run in New Orleans. I mean, we'll throw it 40 times.
Some games.
But I bet you we ran it 30 times in that game, 35 times. So we were balanced. Balance is key. If they know you're going to throw the ball majority of the time, you're not helping your quarterback out. And you know how hard it is to protect a guy 40 snaps a game, pass plays a game? That's hard. You know, because you're playing against some great DBs out here who can cover. And if they can cover more than 3 seconds, your quarterback's getting hit.
Yeah.
I don't care who you got up front. You know, maybe some lines are a little bit better, but
I saw some picture of Luck yesterday. It was like, I think it was the guy on the Saints on his back, like.
Yeah, Junior Gillette, I believe.
Was that?
Yeah.
It looked like he was like an animal, like a cowboy, a calf getting roped.
Yeah.
And he's got him on his back, like. Yeah. It's like, dude, he just took some hits, man.
He took some hits, and it's funny though, because of course, you know, the clip is going viral. How nice of a guy he was. Have you seen that clip, Andrew Luck's clip? You gotta see it every time he gets hit or gets sacked.
He tells the
hey man, good hit. Like, that shit's funny, man. It's funny, but like he took too many of them, and it's just unfortunate because, you know, the league will never. Well, he won't. As of right now, they won't have his talent in the league anymore. You know, it's just unfortunate, but I wish him well.
I just think, like, I mean, this is me, not you. 90% of fans are just idiots. Like, how can you boo a guy? How can you even criticize somebody who wants to do what they want to do with their own life? Like,
That's
So like, let them do what they want to do.
sometimes you got to sit back and look at and realize that we're all just for entertainment. And when people see us, it's like we're just a show. They don't, they think you just show up on Sunday. Some people think you just show up on Sundays, and you're entitled to play a perfect game. This game is hard, man. People are trying to eat. People are trying to feed their families, day in and day out, practice in, practice out, game in, game out. It's fun, man. But you have to come a point in time. You have to do what's right for you. And if you don't feel like you can do it, then you can't do it.
My body broke down at like age 20 playing sports.
Yeah.
I wasn't built for this. So the one thing that I am most impressed by guys like you and EJ and friends of mine who have played and as adults,
Yeah.
it's like that your bodies have withstood all this for so long.
Yeah.
People don't understand. I just don't think they get it.
Yeah.
Like people say like, like, oh, you think you could take a hit from so-and-so or whatever. It's like, I would break.
Right. It's
I couldn't
a
do it.
lot, man. It's a lot. And when it comes down to that, it's how do guys take care of their body. When I was if I'd have kept doing some of the things I was doing in my younger days, I wouldn't have made it past.
People
year
didn't
6,
know back
7,
then
8.
either.
Right. It was
It's
definitely not a
changed
lot
so
of knowledge.
much.
And your nutrition and the way you work out, and honestly, you got to have a chiropractor. You have to have a great masseuse. You need to have a physical therapist. Pilates is a big thing now. Everything is big.
Recovery is a whole thing in
Recovery is
itself.
everything. Recovery is everything. When I first got in the league, there was no massage therapist at the facility. There was no physical therapist at the facility. Now you can't go to a facility that doesn't have massage therapists and physical therapists and chiropractors that come in 2-3 times a week. Like, recovery's big now. Recovery is a thing because guys are trying to have longer careers, and the NFL is trying to do the right thing when it comes to the recovery part of the game. And but just because you do that recovery there, you have to do recovery outside of that. So when you get older, your life is pretty much around eating the right way and making sure you're rested and recovered the right way. And it's not cheap. Probably cost me $1,000 a week, maybe a little bit more, $1,200. I'd go see the physical therapist and get a massage on the same day. That's, on Friday before the game. That's $550. That's $500.
Do any cryo, any of that stuff?
Yeah. See, the Saints had that last year. I think teams are just starting to move to putting them in their facilities, float tanks.
Yeah.
So recovery is at an all-time high. You'd be foolish to come into this league and not understand how useful it is.
If you want to last.
And that's what a lot of guys. Some guys are just happy to be here.
Yeah.
I was happy to be here, but I was excited to find a way to stay. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I've played this game for so long. I've seen guys when they've drafted guys. Even when I was with the Saints the first time, I've coming off years and I've tried to get better year in and year out, and they'll draft somebody in the second round. But I'm gonna keep working and I'm gonna be there. And if I'm hurt, I'm gonna try to be out there. I'll play through whatever as long as nothing's broken or a ligament ain't snapped. I'll play through whatever just so you don't have that opportunity to make the coach feel good, because I want that opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I was talking to somebody in the Pelicans organization, and I was saying how Zion might have saved the Pelicans, because with the whole Anthony Davis mess and all that, like, they might actually lose their team out the league, because I heard they have like some of the worst attendance in the league.
For sure.
They're owned by the owner of the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me that there's a deal between the two teams where basically any sponsorships that the Saints get, they have to sponsor the Pels too.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's almost like hand in hand. So they're
Right.
like, they're going to be fine because of
Right.
the Saints.
For sure.
And the Saints are always, they're the Saints are doing great.
They're the breadwinner in Louisiana when it comes to professional sports.
Right.
But you're right. I mean, when they drafted Zion, I tweeted to the Pelicans ticket office, I might need some season tickets.
Yeah.
But then I kind of sat back and thought that probably wouldn't be a good idea with the baby on the way. So I was like, maybe I'll just chill, because I was thinking about, flying in every other week just to see him, because hopefully he can put on a show. And
I like his team too. He got some good teammates.
yeah, I do too. I like him, and there's another guy, 7-footer that they brought in.
That's Jackson Hayes.
Yeah.
That's the tight end coach from the Jonathan Hayes. You know Jonathan Hayes? He
don't
played in the
believe so.
NFL. I
I
want to say
don't
the
believe so.
Chiefs, maybe.
Okay.
I knew him as a player. Like, I remember watching him as a kid. And then he was on Hard Knocks, maybe with the Bengals? He might have been the Bengals tight end coach. It's his son.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty darn. I like him. I think they got some
looked
good
good in summer
leadership.
league.
Yeah, he did. I think they got some good leadership with Drew still down there. I forget a couple guys that they brought in.
Frank Jackson was a good draft pick.
Yeah, I'm excited about him, man. You know, the city of New Orleans, man, they deserve some good sports teams. You know, because that city has been through so much.
But that's what I was going to ask you. So as big as Zion is, and I mean, even if he becomes half of what people think he's going to be, I still don't even think he compares to what Drew Brees means to that city.
Oh, come on,
like,
man.
I don't even think,
Man,
like, it's
it's
apples and oranges.
Yeah, like if he brings a championship, then you know the city's gonna eat that up. But as of right now, Drew Brees is the man around there, and deservingly so. Deservingly so. I mean, the guy he's everything you want in a leader and a quarterback.
Doesn't that make you want to go harder to have a guy, you're protecting a guy like that?
For sure. That's funny you say that because that's literally what my mindset was.
Yeah.
I would go into every single week, even when I first started playing until the day I left, and even last year when I came back and started them games, that was that was my motivation. I can't go out here and let this man get hit, get hurt, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. So, you know, you got to put your fears and whatever doubts about yourself, you got to the side and understand the bigger picture. I had to, you know, he's greatness, and I want to be a part of it, and I want to help him get to where he wants to go. I want to help this team get to where they want to go, and I got to protect him, you know.
No disrespect to Drew at all. How many times did he hit you in the back with a pass? Because, like, I know he has trouble seeing over the line.
I'll be honest with you. He hasn't gotten me. I've taken more shots to the ribs from running backs hitting me in the back.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's kind of funny because Drew, he's tipping 6 foot, maybe a little bit more than 6 foot, but he finds a way. He's deadly accurate. It's exciting to see.
I mean, he doesn't have a hose of an arm. It's not like one of those crazy.
No, it's all timing, man. You got to be in the right place at the right time. And that's one thing that's, you know, going to New Orleans first and then going to other places has spoiled me. Because, you know, you see a relationship between a head coach and a quarterback, and they're just like, they're like damn Siamese twins that were separated. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they probably can finish each other's sentences. You know what I'm saying? Like in the huddle type shit. You know, when they get in certain situations, they'll bounce out because you can hear them. You overhear them. They'll bounce ideas off each other, and you'll hear one of them say, "That's exactly what I was thinking." You know what I'm saying? So, when you have that kind of relationship, they demand you be on top of your game. I think that's what's gotten me to where I am in life. You know, in this game, you know, it's kind of just giving me more of appreciation and drive.
I'ma keep it 100.
Time to keep it a hundo.
For sure.
All right. Favorite athlete as a kid?
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
That's an easy one.
It is. That is definitely the easiest one you could probably say, but yeah, I'm gonna stick with it, man. I've still invested in a bunch of his shoes and shit, so I'm definitely going with Michael Jordan.
Would you rather give up alcohol or sweets?
Alcohol. Sweets.
You'd be
Sweet alcohol. Sweets. Sweets.
You'd give up sweets over alcohol?
Yeah, because sugar will. I can have a drink here and there. Sugar, I have to stop fucking eating sweets too.
Okay.
I've always had a sweet tooth, so if I could give it up, I would love to.
If you go to any U.S. city that you've never been to, where would you go? And you might have played in a city, but you didn't really see it.
I want to go to Alaska. I want to go to
somewhere in Alaska.
Somewhere in Alaska where I can, because I'm a scenery type of person. I like to be around water.
Do you want to do like the daytime? I mean, the summertime when it's all daylight all day, or you want to go in the frigid cold?
I don't mind the cold. I don't want it too cold, but I don't mind.
It's
cold.
pretty extreme up there.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty bad. I would love to see it.
Yeah, I've never been there.
I haven't either. If anything, I would just take like a nice Alaskan cruise or something, just to see it, just to be a part of it for once.
What's the worst U.S. city you've been to?
The worst U.S. city I've been to? You know, Tampa was like a ghost city to me when I went up there.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird, but I love Tampa. Like, I love Clearwater. I love St. Pete Beach.
Right.
But when you go into the city of Tampa, you're like, where the hell is everybody at?
Yeah.
And I've been there a few times because I had my first financial advisor was there. So I'd spent some decent time in Tampa, and we would take trips to Tampa, but I love Clearwater, St. Pete Beach, cool. But
Yeah,
whenever
the
I love going to Ybor City. I love Ybor City. I got one of my favorite restaurants is down there. But whenever you go into the city, it's like, why is it so dead here?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Last
saying?
time I was in Tampa, I stayed in the city, and there was like nothing going. There was I think there was like a hockey playoff game.
Yeah.
And there were people coming and going from that. And once they came and left, nothing. Nobody left in the city.
Right. For my Saints fans, I'll just say Atlanta.
But we both know that's not the truth.
For sure.
What about international? If there's one place you could go
I want to go. I want to go to Africa.
Anywhere in Africa?
Yeah, I want to take a whole tour. I want to see how beautiful South Africa is, but I want to go see some of the other countries. Man.
Same here.
It's just, I think it would be very important for me and my family to see that sooner rather than later. My son talks about it all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
You ever done Ancestry, DNA,
I have not.
23andMe?
My wife got me one for Christmas. I haven't done it yet. I just got to do it. And I think that would be pretty. I think that'd be pretty cool. But I've heard those conspiracy theories about sending your shit in for that.
I haven't done it.
That's why I'm kind of like, because she got it for me, and then next thing you know, I'll see this theory here that I don't know, just listening to bullshit. But I do want to do it.
I've heard some cool stuff about it though. Like 75% of African Americans are Nigerian.
Yeah.
Because most people came over on the boats from West Africa.
Right.
And then not one. This shouldn't be a surprise, but not one African American has come back 100% African.
For sure.
That's like a done deal. You already know.
Yeah.
But just like stuff to hear the stuff that's happened with it, like as far as like I have a friend, my roommate in college, found his biological father through it.
Really?
He didn't know that was his father. He thought his father died when he was 5 years old.
Right.
And he found out this other guy who lived 5 miles from the house he grew up in.
I've heard a couple stories like that.
Yeah.
Man. That's pretty unique, especially if something happens like that.
Yeah.
But I think I can't pinpoint one place I'd want to go. I would want to see a lot.
Same here. There's a lot to see over there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you prefer like Commander's Palace or like Willie Mae's Scotch House? Like
I never did Willie Mae's.
You never did Willie Mae's?
No.
Do you have a fried chicken spot in New Orleans? That's because that's what they're known for.
Willie Mae's.
Yeah.
We did Dookie Chase's a few times.
It's right by Dookie Chase.
Okay.
It's like right
Dookie Chase. Before he passed, we went and we'd go there. They got good chicken there.
Okay. It's the same idea.
Same spot.
Yeah. So you prefer
Commanders
that type of like little.
I like it.
shack?
I'll be honest with you. I like it all, bro.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
Switch it up.
I love to eat. Like I love to eat. Obviously, you don't get. Well, I'm not 325 now, so. But you don't get over 300, shying away from food.
Are you closer to 3 even now?
I'm 308 this morning, as of this morning. I got down to like 304, then I went on vacation for 2 weeks.
You're going to get under 3 by,
I'm gonna get it.
by Christmas.
Oh my God, I'll be on
Thanksgiving?
I'll be under 3 in 30, 40 days, if I just go hit the gym like I'm supposed to.
You haven't even been working out really.
No, I've been eating right, drinking a lot of water, and I'll go do my cardio. Like I walk, I'll jog, I'll hit the bike. Sometimes I make it to the gym right now. That's what I'm saying. Like I can't take no team's money. Not right now. You feel me? Like I would feel like a piece of shit if I went and did that.
You're also not giving your best version of you, and
for sure.
You don't want to look like a fool.
For sure.
Favorite TV show as a kid?
Oh man, I grew up on like TGIF days, man. like the easy days.
So what's is that? Full House,
Family Matters. That was always a good one. Cartoons. Of course, I was a Power Rangers fan back in the day.
That's like a little after my time.
Yeah.
I was in high school, so I wasn't on the
Power
Power Rangers.
You can't do that. But I remember that. I remember all of that. I wasn't on it like that. I was on the video games, dude.
Like what, Nintendo or Super Nintendo?
No Super Nintendo. I was a Nintendo, Sega Genesis.
Who have you met that just had you starstruck? I know you've met plenty of people, and I'm sure you don't get starstruck because you're a pro athlete. But who have you met that was just kind of like, damn, I can't believe I met this person.
Remember me and a few of my boys, we was out in Vegas, and we was out at the club all night till probably like 4 or 5, and we're just sitting in the casino, probably like trying to find our way back to the room and probably go grab something to eat. And like 5 something in the morning, like fucking Dr. J walks by, and I looked at my boys and we looked at him, we made eye contact, and we said, "What's up?"
That's a good one.
But then like 10 seconds later, I was like, "Say, bro, that was fucking Dr." This is verbatim. I was like, "Say, bro, that was fucking Dr. J. If we don't go get a picture, like, we tripping." They were like, "You right." And we just found him, went to go take a picture. I've been looking for that picture ever since. But like seeing him, because I was always into sports. Like I said, MJ was my favorite. But I would watch all the slam dunk contests from back in the day.
He's also got that connection with Virginia. He played for the Virginia Squires.
Yes, right. That's
in
right.
the
That's right.
ABA.
Yes. So it's like, for me to see him, like I met everybody you've ever wanted to meet in football. Past guys. I've done that, and it's been cool. It's been dope. I'm from King George, Virginia. I didn't meet nobody, any professional athletes.
NFL players from your town, right?
No, NFL,
High
NBA,
school,
no
right?
major league, none of that. So for me to see a lot of these people, I thought it was pretty cool.
What did you want to be when you were a kid?
I wanted to play Major League Baseball.
Oh, that's right. You did mention that.
I mean, I was serious about it too.
Who was your guy?
Cal Ripken.
Okay.
Loved
Were
it.
you an Orioles fan?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Still am. They're not very good.
Yeah, they've been really bad.
They've been bad for a long goddamn time. It kind of pisses me off because I'm just like, I want them to have some good years, but it's sports. It is what it is. Their time will come.
You been to Camden Yards a
Of
bunch?
course, oh man, right, yeah. It was funny because when I went to school in Baltimore, I think I might have went to 2 games. But my father, what I remember, he used to do for me all the time, is he would take us up there. He would take me up there, and we would go see the games. And that's when Cal Ripken was on and popping, man. Like
He was in the streak.
yeah, he was in the Iron Man, and that was awesome for me to watch that. Yeah.
Have you ever heard the story? This is a crazy story, and I never heard it from Cal Ripken's mouth or from Kevin Costner's mouth. You know Kevin Costner?
The actor.
Yeah. So Kevin Costner was, I guess, he was friends with Cal Ripken, and he was staying with him during Cal's baseball career, during the streak. And Costner was getting ready to do either Field of Dreams or that other baseball movie he was in, Bull Durham.
Okay.
He was in Bull Durham, Field of Dreams, and then another one he
Right.
pitched in or something. Anyway, he was staying with Cal and working on his baseball game and all that stuff. And apparently he slept with Cal's wife. And Cal found out and didn't want to play the next day. And that was going to end the streak. And the Orioles found out about it. And they announced to the media that the power wasn't working at Camden Yards, and they canceled one of the games because Kevin Costner slept with Cal Ripken's wife. That's like a urban myth, but like it's on. Like if you look for it, it's all over the place online.
Wow.
Imagine
That
that,
is. I open up my house to you, and first off, oh my gosh, the wife, like they must have been going through some shit. Come on, man. Like, come on.
That is
Really?
some shit, though. That blew my mind
I don't
when I
even
heard
want to
that.
say, man. That's sick. Shout out to the Orioles for doing that. That is some
Right.
sick shit.
He's like, I can't play.
Yeah.
I can't play. Top 3 Virginia athletes of all time. Your 3 favorite. It's been some great ones.
Allen Iverson,
Yep.
Mike Vick.
You got 2 of mine right there. I got one more that was special to me because I met him when I was in high school, and he was a great athlete.
Who was that?
Joe Smith,
Joe Smith.
basketball player. Norfolk.
Yeah.
Number 1 pick in the NBA draft. Went to Maryland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one, too. My third would be, I'm going to go family, bro. Justin Anderson. It's my cousin.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
my
that's your cousin?
Yeah.
Okay. Where's he from in Virginia?
He's originally from Caroline County. Grew up in Westmoreland, Virginia. Where
Small
we was from.
town.
Yeah, smaller than
I know
where
he
I'm from
went
in
to
King
UVA,
George.
right?
Yep. So committed to Maryland. But after, was it Gary Brown? What's his name?
Gary Williams.
Gary Williams. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm sorry. That's when he went over to UVA. So I gotta go family for my third.
Where's
one.
he at now?
He's still a free agent, man.
Oh, he
He's
is?
still a free agent. He's trying to find his way. He got banged up a little bit, nicked up, and that kid, I used to love watching him. You know what I'm saying? Love watching him.
I used to like another two-sport athlete out of Virginia, Ronald Curry.
Yeah,
He was just
Yeah.
another guy who was,
he was nasty too.
yeah,
He was nasty too.
good at everything.
Damn. It's a lot. It's a good bit. I'm just drawing a blank.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
some
you got
reason.
Camp
yeah.
Chancellor.
Yeah.
You got some good guys.
Of course, AI and Mike Vick was the first.
Yeah,
two
I
that
mean,
popped in
they're
my mind.
iconic.
You
like,
remember
national-
Ahmad Brooks?
Yeah, UVA
Yeah.
linebacker.
He used to return punts and kickoffs in high school.
For real?
Yeah, he was serious.
Yeah,
he was
he
serious.
was a sick athlete.
For sure. For sure.
One pair of kicks the rest of your life.
One brand or one
Nah,
pair?
like one actual pair.
Jordan 11s.
Jordan 11s.
Yeah,
I love
Space
them.
Jams.
Yeah, I love them.
That was the first pair of one of the first pair of Jordans I got. I remember that's back in the day off East Bay. I had to call and get them.
Yep.
You know, the fun days of shoe collecting.
Yep. Actually, that's where I got my first pair
For real.
of 11s.
Yeah.
One album the rest of your life. What would you
Wow.
listen to?
I'm gonna go with something that's timeless, man. I'm gonna go. For now, we're just gonna say Hov, even though he's getting some backlash right now.
Yeah, right. I think his intentions are probably
I'm
good.
not,
You know,
I'm not mad at it, man. People take shit out of context
Yeah.
and run with it. It's kind of sickening.
but also look at like the situation with the Dolphins owner Stephen Ross,
Yeah.
and he's a big Trump donor, and he owns Equinox. So now it's like if you work out at Equinox or you're a Dolphins fan, you're a Trump supporter.
Right.
You know.
Like shit is, man. Politics is so crazy. Because I remember back in the day, I would ask my parents, "Hey, who you like?" I didn't know much. I didn't know nothing about
Yeah.
politics. Who you voting for? I'm not. They wouldn't even tell me. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like we tell everybody.
Yeah.
We let everybody know.
Yep.
So then once you do that, then people are going to, they're going to form an opinion off of you. So
Exactly.
I'd rather not even talk politics with people.
Well, I have a friend, and he's just like me and my friends, and he's like my only friend that's like a Trump supporter. And I said to him, like, he's like, he jokes with us in group text and stuff, and we mess with him. But I really like said something to him one day. I said, I question your intelligence and your humanity.
Right.
And he's like, are you serious? And I said, yeah, I'm serious. Because, like, how can you support that guy?
Right.
And, like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
Because, like, look at all these things. I can give you a list of reasons why I feel that way.
Right.
And he's just like, he was, like, kind of offended by it. But it's like, that's
They
how
all
you
are.
look at people now, though.
They all are. Because it's like the way you talk about people and the way you give your opinions on people. That's another reason I have an issue with SportsCenter and some of these other shows, because it's like you're not giving facts, you're giving opinions, and then people run with that shit.
Right.
And then people base your opinions and they make it feel like it's fact when it's not. There's a lot of good people out here. There's a lot of good black people. There's a lot of good Mexican people. There's a lot of good white people. There's a lot of great cops. There's a couple that ain't shit. But like the way you talk about people, you put people in this like box, and people start to look at every black person as a threat. Every Mexican as
Stigmatized.
right. So it's like that's my issue. That is my issue with him. Like the things he could be doing, he could be creating jobs. Great, whatever. But
He's not, his humanity is lacking.
yes, and
He
that's
doesn't seem to care about people.
right. And and to see all these these kids get ripped away from their families and nothing's happening about it, and the way he attacks African American women, it bothers me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's never going to stop if the leader of the United States continues to talk about people like that.
But speaking of the criticism, the podcast I did with EJ, I don't know if you heard, you mentioned you listened to it. I was talking about Russell Westbrook, and I said he's
I made
a
it through
terrible
halfway of
shooter.
it. Yeah, okay, yeah.
I said he's a terrible shooter, and he's like, he's not a terrible shooter. He's like, he's in the NBA. He's an all-star.
Right.
He's like, this is why I don't like people criticizing professional athletes.
Right.
Like people want to. He didn't bring his name into it, but I could see his point of view where
Right.
somebody will get on SportsCenter or ESPN and say EJ Manuel's terrible, and it's
Yeah.
like, nah, EJ Manuel's a great quarterback at Florida State.
Right.
He was a first-round pick.
Right.
He started in the NFL and actually
Right.
had success in the NFL.
Right.
He's not a terrible quarterback.
Right. Like certain fans or certain people on TV, like they expect you to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like they expect you not to make a mistake. You give up a QB pressure or sack, you're as an offensive lineman, your fucking mentions are in shambles.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know, I've had bad games where the game has ended on a sack from me,
Mm-hmm.
and I've had death threats, people talking crazy to me, hoping I get cancer, all this shit, hoping I die. And I'm just like, because of your fantasy, I don't give a. I
Right.
don't care about your. Like I don't
Right.
care about it. I don't. But like I'm not perfect, and I'm not getting paid like I'm perfect. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing really well, but it's like I'm a human. I make mistakes. I get beat. This is a man's game. You're gonna get beat.
Or
And
a
some
false
people.
start or something.
Oh my gosh.
I can imagine.
Oh my
Like,
god. Or
you're-
get a holding, like to bring a big play back.
Yeah.
Man, they're ready to crucify you,
Yeah.
dude. And I've had some of the same people ready to crucify me. I come back and I play well a year later, or I play well, the next game, and it's all good. Like I don't forget. I still know you're a piece of shit.
And it definitely made me think like, damn, here I am, somebody who plays pickup ball,
Yeah.
and like, sometimes my jump is off,
Right.
and I'm sitting here saying Russell Westbrook's a terrible
right.
shooter. Like,
So that's part of my reason. Like I stopped watching some of those shows a lot, especially during the season.
yeah, I don't watch those.
Yeah, I
The
just
talking head shows.
Yeah.
I don't watch any of
I mean,
those.
even some on SportsCenter is just like stop giving you like just put the facts out. And I understand it. You got to sell.
Yeah.
I get it. I
gotta get
understand.
ratings.
It's business.
We just spoke about Mike Vick and AI. Steel cage match. Michael Vick versus Allen Iverson.
Both of them are tough.
Yeah.
Like they're both to play in the league. You got to be tough. But AI was just a dog. Like he was a dog. I'm gonna give it to Vic though, bro, because I'm gonna give him a little bit of the. I'm gonna give him size but
Football.
Yeah, the football mindset. But Allen Iverson is the type he'll kill himself trying to kill you.
Or
You know what I'm saying?
I think Vic might win, but AI comes out like still fucking
For
laughing
sure,
at him,
for
all
sure,
bloody and
for
shit.
sure. Like AI is just tough, man.
Yeah. Celebrity crush. Did you ever have a celebrity crush growing up?
Growing up, you remember when Carmen Electra used to be?
Rodman.
Yeah,
She was with
yeah,
Rodman.
exactly.
Right before Rodman, when she was like, that was her peak.
Yeah,
And that's why Rodman grabbed her
of
up,
course,
I think.
for sure.
Yeah.
Of course, Halle Berry back in the day. I mean, let's come on now. Beyonce. I mean,
Listen to this. I was at my boy's crib on South Beach, 4th of July. It was about 10 years ago.
yeah.
And Halle Berry was living in his building. And she was in the pool with us on the 4th. It was me, him, her, and she had just had her first child. And it was just the four of us in the pool.
Yeah.
And we were just like, what? Like, what do we do? Like, we
Right.
didn't know. Like, and I'm sitting here, like, I was single. I'm like, let me take my shot.
Fuck it.
And then, like, shortly after she had the baby with some white dude.
Yeah.
He kind of looked like a Matthew McConaughey type
Yeah,
guy or whatever.
yeah.
He came out and he was there. So it was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Paparazzi was shooting through the fence, like, because it was
Really?
right on South Beach. You probably
Yeah,
been in
yeah,
the
yeah.
building. One of your old teammates used to live there. Man, don't even get me started on him. Craziest teammate you ever had?
Anthony Hargrove.
What type of stuff? What eccentric type dude?
He was just wild, man. Super Bowl year, he lay his shit on the line, man. Like pregame, he's the guy
Speeches
hollering and getting you amped up. He was a big reason, he was a big reason. The dude was always out there every game, gave it his all every single game. But that motherfucker was little.
Was he a guard?
Nah, he was a D lineman.
Oh, he was a
D
D-lineman.
tackle. Yeah, and you know what 300-yard shuttles are?
Yep.
Man, I seen a dude do 6 of them straight.
At his size?
And do it all under time, under like 60 seconds, 6
Damn.
of them. So like of course there's a little cash on the line, you know what I'm saying? But he did them all.
D linemen are like some crazy athletes.
You got it, yeah,
Crazy
for sure,
athletes.
for sure. Strong,
That's like, no offense, that's the
fast.
big difference between you guys, though.
Yeah,
The O lineman and D
strong,
lineman.
fast, play with good leverage.
And there's exceptions to the rule, though.
Straight up.
There's guys like you
Yep.
who get buckets. Was there ever anything in the media that was just a straight lie about you? It could be personal, it could be professional, but was there something that you just heard just like, that ain't true?
I think the first time I was a free agent, somebody said that in the media that I was trying to get paid like another player on the team.
Saying that he wants this guy's
I
money.
want
want Drew Brees money
it was Jari Evans.
Yeah.
Jari Evans.
And he was the highest paid lineman.
He was the highest paid guard at the time.
In the league.
And I never said that. My agent never said that. You know, so when I was a free agent, you know, of course social media ran with that and had some fun with it for a little bit, but I just told him, I was like, I never said anything like that. You know what I'm saying? That's not even me. I don't even talk like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. Top 5 offensive linemen of all time.
Orlando Pace, Jonathan Ogden, Walter Jones, John Runyon.
OTs.
Yeah, John Runyon.
Runyon.
Yeah. I was a big Joe Thomas fan. We came out the same year. I was a big fan. Yeah, I was a big fan of him. Just his consistency, how he did things.
I mean, they sucked most of the time he was there. He played every game.
Every game. You know what I'm saying? Just as durable as they come. I don't think he missed games until his last year.
Yeah.
He was just durable. You know, his technique was always the same. You know, I like Joe, and you know that's another shout out to our class.
All right, we got the last 2. We got top 5 rappers of all time. I believe Jermon and I recorded a podcast in the past, but never made it to the light of day.
Yeah.
And we did this question before. I do remember a couple of the answers to this, but go
Probably
ahead.
Jay-Z and Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
That's my first 2. You got to give it. You got to put Tupac in there just because he just spoke about real life issues.
His impact.
Yeah, and his impact would have been way bigger if he wasn't taken from us early.
But some people argue, and I may agree, that sometimes it's like when you come in and make this impact and then leave, we're like, take a guy, and this is just on a musical standpoint, not on a cultural impact, but like take a guy like DMX. If he puts out his first and second album and then he passes away, DMX is a legend, like top 10, top 5.
Yeah.
But DMX went on to get into crack and rehab and not showing up to concerts.
So some of it is like you got to look at the overall grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Right? Like as far as like business and what he's been able to do, all time, Drake will be up there. At the end of it, he's going to be up just because of what he's been able to do from literally the start to where he is now. He ain't nowhere near done.
Music's different now, but
yeah.
he just passed the Beatles for like
sure.
most top 10 songs or most top 100, something like that.
Sure.
Like to pass the Beatles though,
That's big.
it's crazy.
That's
It's
big.
he's not just influencing rap, he's influencing music,
Right.
all of music.
Right. And Rakim's dope too, because a lot of people get their influence from him, and so you got to take it back. But I'm with that list right now. I mean, I think Eminem was a monster back in his day. I'm not really feeling him too much last 5-8 years.
Yeah.
You know, but
His first 3 albums, 2 albums.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was great back in the day. Like I said, I don't know too much about now.
Rakim though.
Yeah.
EJ said, "Yo, I want to do top 5 again." He's like, "I want to put Rakim in mine because he didn't put him in."
Yeah.
But like,
But I had to think about that one because I'm a documentary person, so I'll go and I love looking at like old rap documentaries.
Love it.
You know,
you seen all the Wu, all 4?
No, I didn't see that.
You
one.
got to see the Wu.
I
The
didn't see.
Wu-Tang
You know,
doc.
I did
It's
hear
on
about
Showtime.
it. It's on Showtime.
It's
Okay.
amazing.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah. I'm gonna check that out. You know, me and the wife got some downtime, so
Yeah, you'll love it.
I'm gonna check that one out for sure.
Last question, Death Row Meal.
Death Row Meal.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be a spread.
Yeah, you don't need to watch cholesterol or anything because they're putting you in the chair the next day.
I need a. This is so black.
that night.
This is so black. I need fried chicken.
Yeah.
I need my mashed potatoes and gravy.
Yeah.
I need a piece of steak. I'm not eating no green vegetables on my last meal. I want my mac and cheese. Like I'm just fucking scarfing a Thanksgiving meal down pretty much.
Sweet potato.
Straight up. My grandmother's sweet potato pie and her pound cake. My pops fried fish sandwich. Like, I'm just going all out. Like, I'm leaving anyway. So shit.
Yeah. And you can put all that away. Like, some people, I look at them and be like, you're not gonna be able to eat all that. But
if you come to one of our barbecues, I mean, shit, that's pretty much what it is. Like,
some of my listeners say you need to give the height and weight of the guest, and I nobody realizes how big you are. Yeah. So what are we looking at?
Right now, I'm 6'5", 308.
6'5", 308. Okay, yeah, that's a big dude.
Yeah, playing days I was 6'5", 320, 325.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are we drinking with it? Are we drinking like some sweet tea or some Kool-Aid or something? Or are we drinking some Henny or something?
I'm on the Hennessy probably, or I'm just on something good. Like if it's my last one, I want some what's the expensive shit? I forgot.
The Louis?
Yeah, I need that.
Louis
I have
13.
had that once, and that was fire.
Yeah.
And so I need something like that. If it's my last time, I need something like that. I can drink Hennessy anytime.
There it is, man. I wanted to say I'll be praying for you and Jessica.
I appreciate
with
it.
this next birth, and I hope everything works out with it. And whatever endeavor you decide to get into as your career winds down now, I wish you the best.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. This was cool, man. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, bro.
No doubt.
Thanks for listening to my conversation with Jermon Bushrod. That's a good guy right there. I wish him nothing but the best on the birth of his child and this talk about him starting his own podcast. And I hope he follows through with it because I think he'll be really good at it. Okay, time for some Keepin' It a Hundo updates. You may have noticed the lack of music, the lack of theme music, and I apologize for it. I apologize to Jermon and I apologize to my audience. But the main reason for that is because I'm trying to monetize this podcast. I really enjoy doing it. It's a lot of fun. It's something I would do for free, and I have been doing for free. But eventually, I would like to start getting paid for this. And in order to get paid, I can't use other people's music. And I was aware of that when I started doing the podcast. But I just figured, this is something I'm doing for fun. I don't really care about that. I'm not concerned with monetizing it, but it's almost 2 years now, and I feel like I have something here that could really gain some traction. So I've decided to stop using other people's music, at least for now. I've put most of my podcasts up on YouTube, and if you want to get paid on YouTube based on the amount of listens, you can't have other people's music on there. There's copyright infringement laws, and a lot of the podcasts I've posted have infringed on the copyrights of these artists. Don't worry, I'm not going to get in trouble for it. I'm just not going to get paid for it. So as I go forward, I'm going to release these podcasts for now without any music, because I haven't had anybody make me any beats. But if we got some beat makers out there, I'd love it if you could throw me something. I'll throw something back at you, and maybe we can collaborate. If you listen to this podcast because you're a fan of Jermon, or you're his friend, or you're his family members, I would appreciate it if you download and subscribe to Keepin' It a Hundo. And anybody else who hasn't done that yet, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time on Keepin' It a Hundo.